Imagine a crisp, sunny day in London's Hyde Park. Have you ever had a moment of pure joy turned into a moment of panic and worry? Meet Sarah, a young woman with a zest for life and an unbreakable bond with her small terrier Toby. Their days were filled with laughter, joy, and an occasional squirrel chase. Toby, with his endless energy, would dart around the park, his tail wagging furiously as he sniffed at trees and chased after squirrels. Sarah, on the other hand, found peace in the fresh air and the radiant sunshine, their shared happiness creating an infectious atmosphere. Yet, life has a way of throwing curveballs, and on this seemingly ordinary day, Toby suddenly disappeared. Despite her desperate calls and frantic search around the park, Toby was nowhere to be found. As the sun set, Sarah's heart filled with worry. She had never lost Toby before. Have you ever felt the sinking feeling of losing something precious? There's a certain frantic desperation that comes with it, a kind of distress that's difficult to put into words. This was exactly what Sarah was experiencing. Her heart pounded in her chest as she combed through the park calling for Toby, her small terrier. Toby, who was usually so obedient, was nowhere to be found. Sarah's worry intensified with each passing minute. She dashed through the park, her voice growing hoarse from calling Toby's name. She checked behind every tree, under every bench, but Toby remained elusive. With a heavy heart, Sarah returned to her apartment, her mind filled with worst-case scenarios. She reached out to the local animal shelter, hoping against hope that someone had found Toby and brought him there. The shelter asked her to come in and fill out a lost dog report. She did so, her hand trembling as she penned down Toby's description. Back at home, the wait was agonizing. The clock ticked away, each passing second stretching into an eternity. The apartment seemed unusually quiet without Toby's cheerful presence. Sarah kept glancing at the door, hoping for the telltale sound of Toby's paws. But the day ended with no sign of Toby. Sarah went to bed that night, her heart heavy with sadness. She had lost her beloved Toby. The emptiness was almost unbearable. She stared into the darkness, praying for Toby's safe return. Sometimes, when we least expect it, miracles happen. Do you believe in miracles? As the first rays of dawn peeked through the curtains, Sarah was awakened by a familiar sound, the ring of her doorbell. A sense of curiosity washed over her as she rose from her bed and made her way to the door. As she swung the door open, she was greeted by a sight that brought a gasp to her lips. There stood a stranger holding a leash, at the end of which was her beloved Toby. The unexpected joy that surged through her was so overpowering she could barely believe her eyes. Toby, on seeing his owner, wagged his tail happily as if he were saying, "I'm back." The stranger, a kind-looking man, explained how he had found Toby in the park, lost and scared. He had taken him home, hoping to find his owner. However, he already had a dog and couldn't keep Toby. He returned Toby to Sarah, hoping he had found the right home. Gratitude welled up in Sarah as she thanked the man profusely, assuring him of her care for Toby. She felt a surge of relief and happiness, her heart swelling with love for her little terrier. She gave the man her phone number, urging him to call her if he ever spotted Toby again. Sarah held Toby close, tears of joy streaming down her face. She had learned a valuable lesson. Always keep an eye on your dog, even in a park. Every experience, good or bad, teaches us something. What do you think Sarah learned from her experience? In the heart of our story, we find a young woman named Sarah, whose day took a turn when her small terrier, Toby, decided to explore the park without her. The joy and relief that washed over her when she was reunited with Toby was palpable. It was as if a weight had been lifted from her heart. But this story isn't just about a lost dog found. It's about the lesson that Sarah learned through this ordeal, a lesson about vigilance and responsibility. She realized that even in the most familiar of surroundings, like her beloved park, it's crucial to keep a close eye on her pet. This experience served as a poignant reminder, a wake-up call if you will, about the unpredictable nature of life and the importance of attentiveness, especially when it comes to those we hold dear. Sarah's ordeal ended on a happy note, but it left her with a valuable lesson, one she would never forget.